So over the hill is just a story we're telling ourselves.
That's so true, man. I really wish I had planned this, but when you were talking there, it reminded me of a study that I read about, I think, and I'm going to put this on our social media page. I'm going to find that study. I think it was in the 2000s, they took a bunch of 80-year-olds and they put them in I don't say it was a setup for 2 weeks or 3 weeks where they set up the entire environment where these people were going to stay for 3 weeks. But it was all set up in the 50s when they were in their 30s. So they were 30-year-olds when they were in the 50s. So now they're in their 80s in the 2000s. So they take them back there and they do all these biological tests, blood work, psychological tests before the experiment. They put them in that environment. By the end of the period, I want to say it was 3 weeks, it might have been longer. They said they saw a dramatic improvement. A number of them were off their medications. A number of them weren't using walking canes anymore, and a lot more of them were more lucid in their way of thinking because of the environment that they were put in the way their brains thought. They thought, "Oh, I'm 30 again." And so their bodies and minds started to show up with, they had TVs, they would, like 50s TVs, and they'd have shows playing from the 50s, newspapers. They were rereading news from 50 years ago, and they felt young again. So it was all the mind set. It was all the mind shift, right? So they just moved themselves back into that space, and then the body out here started to act differently due to how the mind processed it. So I think what everything you're saying right there is it's no different. It's all how you perceive it in the mind. So instead of getting to 80, going back to being tricked into your 30s, well, why not get that mindset now in your 30s, 40s, and step into that going forward for the rest of your life to enjoy every single day going into your 80s. I think it was fascinating. So is it the placebo effect?